What's up, guys? So I'm here at the Cana Rock condos here at the Hard Rock Resort property. Just chilling in the pool. My daughter wanted to come out here and get in the pool, so I told her I'd come out here with her. And so I'm here. I typically don't get in the pool with my shirt on, but you know, I decided, hey, let me record a video while I'm out here, something spontaneous, like, you know, so I got kind of get used to vlogging and talking off the cuff. So I'm out here with her and, you know, she's swimming. So I'm just sitting here thinking, as we've been, you know, going around Punta Cana and just seeing everything that's going on. We've been visiting like different projects, looking at land and things like that. So just kind of seeing how Punta Cana is developing, and I was doing like a compare and contrast between Santo Domingo and Punta Cana, which there's really no, I mean, honest, there's no comparison, because y'all already know Santo Domingo is the spot, but I do like Punta Cana. I think Punta Cana is a great place to come to relax. You know, I typically don't come here for the nightlife, because, I mean, Santo Domingo has that nightlife. And although Punta Cana has a different type of nightlife, the vibe here is different. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a more, especially if you're around the tourist area of it, it has a tourist type nightlife. So, you know, some of y'all might like that. You know, you get them people that's on the resorts that come off the resorts and, you know, they wild, you know what I'm saying? So you go to them, clubs, and I'm saying they be wild or not. Here's some of the things that I like about Punta Cana, and that was one of them, that it is definitely a great place to, you know, just come and just kind of like slow the pace down, especially if you live in Santo Domingo. It's a nice place to just come to kind of slow the pace down. And it's also, it's just, it's a different energy too. It gives me that, that South Beach vibe here in Punta Cana. Even like Santo Domingo gives me that Miami vibe, but Punta Cana gives me that like South Beach vibe. And to me, if you ever lived in Miami, and people who live in Miami, they know there's a different vibe between downtown Miami and South Beach Miami, at least for my opinion. I wasn't born and raised in Miami, so I mean, I can't really say. I stand to be corrected, but that's just how I feel about me going down to Miami. I actually living in Fort Lauderdale and working in Miami. I just saw a different vibe between South Beach and downtown Miami. I also noticed that the people are a little bit, and this is just my opinion, you know, it's subjective. You know, I think the people are a little bit more maybe friendlier here. I don't know, because it's a lot of expats, or not expats, but a lot of foreigners here, so they tend to be a lot more nicer. And that's also, it's a tourist area, so it's really surrounded by hospitality. So it's a lot of hospitality, should I say hospitality etiquette here. So that's one thing. And not saying that Santo Domingo is like that, but Santo Domingo can be a little bit, even though the people in, you know, I think Dominican Republic as a whole are great, but Santo Domingo is a busy city. It's kind of like, you know, how people talk about New York when they say, you know, New Yorkers are rude and, you know, they're just minding their business, they're going. Santo Domingo and can be like that at sometimes, but for the most part, let me not compare that to New York, because I heard New York people are rude, and I know New Yorkers gonna come from me, but hey, that's what I heard. But Santo Domingo could be a little bit, you know, certain areas, people just mind their business, they're moving along, where here in Punta Cana, you know, they're a little bit more, like, has a little bit more hospitality than me. And the next thing I like about Punta Cana is the beaches. Now, they don't have the most beautiful beaches here in Punta Cana in terms of the whole island. There are much better beaches that look better than here in Punta Cana. But one of my favorite beaches here is Macayo. Macayo is a beautiful beach. Macayo has a really, really nice beach. I love the landscape of that beach. Now, one of my least favorite beaches here is Bavaro Beach. It tends to always have a lot of seaweed in it, so I don't really like that aspect of Bavaro Beach. And the water is not as blue and clear. At least when I've been, it's not as clear and blue as Macayo. So if you ever get down to Punta Cana, check out Macayo Beach. I mean, it's probably about, maybe about 15 minutes from Bavaro, but it's really worth it. It's really worth that drive to go down there. And then the fish down there is amazing. Matter of fact, I had plans to go down there today, but we had so much on our itinerary to do, we wasn't able to get down there. And then by the time we finished, of course, my daughter wanted to come back and jump in the pool, because she didn't get to jump in the pool when we came here yesterday, so she wanted to get here in here today, so I promised that I'd bring her to the pool. So yeah, we didn't end up going to Macayo. I may stop by there tomorrow on Sunday, which, you know, typically a lot of people there, maybe just to get the fish, because the fish is awesome down in Macayo. And another thing I like about Punta Cana is the walkability in certain areas and the drivability. Not that Santo Domingo doesn't have walkability, but in the Punta Cana area, certain areas in Punta Cana, it's more like a peaceful walk. You know what I'm saying? A whole lot of cars going by, but it's like I said, it's really tranquil here in Punta Cana. But the drivability and the walkability in certain areas, I do like that about it. So, you know, if you're not a city person and you're not looking to be around that city type vibe, Punta Cana is a nice place to come. And I tell people, you know, all the time that, hey, if you don't really want to learn English and you just want to live somewhere where, you know, there's a lot of expats and a lot of people here do speak English and people speak English, Punta Cana is a nice place. You know, this may be a place for me, like maybe 10 years from now, when I'm tired of Santo Domingo and I don't want to be in the middle of everything, maybe I may come here to Punta Cana, because Punta Cana is nice. But I doubt it. I ain't going to I'm not living in Punta Cana. I go to Samaná before I go to Punta Cana. So that's pretty much it. I know that's not a long list of why I like Punta Cana, but the things that I dislike about Punta Cana is, number one, is so many tourists here. That right there is something I don't like, but I understand because it is a tourist town. So there's a lot of tourists gonna be here, but that's the part I don't like, and that's why we decided when we were actually coming to move down here that we didn't choose Punta Cana. We first chose Punta Cana, and then we decided, nah, you know, we don't want to be around all that. So it's a lot of tourism, and the prices here are also a little bit higher. Something else I don't like about Punta Cana is, man, listen, it is hot in Punta Cana. Man, I thought Santo Domingo was hot. This has to be the hottest place on the island. When I tell you it's like the sun is on your neck, like it's on your shoulder, just on you. And don't get me wrong, the whole island is hot, but for some reason, it's like it's 2 or 3 times hotter here in Punta Cana. I don't know, because of in Santo Domingo, all the buildings and things like that, so the sun can't make its way or fight its way through all the concrete jungle. And then here in Punta Cana, it's all open. So the sun, I'm telling you, man, it is just leaning on you. All in all, Punta Cana is a nice place to visit. And when we do come here, we typically come to check on our Airbnb properties or either go to a resort. And that's another thing I forgot about. They do have nice resorts here. That's another thing I do like about it. They do have a lot of nice resorts. If you want to experience a resort, the best place to come to me is Punta Cana, rather than anywhere else on the island. And there may be some other resorts that may be nice, but the amount of resorts in Punta Cana doesn't compare to anywhere else on the island. So if there's more resort chains on the island, which there's some in Puerto Plata and Samaná, but they don't hold a candle to the amount of resorts here. You know, I can't even give you a number. It's not even close when it comes to the number that's here versus anywhere else on the island. And one last thing I want to mention, because sometimes people get this confused, the difference between Bavaro and Punta Cana. Most of the resorts are actually in Bavaro. That's where majority of the resorts at. So when people say, hey, I'm going to Punta Cana, most of them are really going to Bavaro. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some resorts in Punta Cana itself, and also in Macayo, and also in Uvero Alto. All those where a lot of the resorts are too, but most of the resorts are here in Bavaro. And when people say, hey, I'm going to Punta Cana, most of the time they come to Bavaro. And most of the nightlife is in Bavaro, not in Punta Cana. It's in Bavaro, like Drink Point, where else they go? Infinity, all that is in Bavaro. It's not in Punta Cana, it's in Bavaro. So when you're trying to book your hotel, just make sure you're somewhere near Bavaro, and that way you'll be closer to the nightlife. Even the area they call downtown Punta Cana, I mean, to me, that's Bavaro. I don't, you know, it's really, actually, to be honest with you, it's on the borderline of Bavaro and Punta Cana, but it's typically Bavaro. All the happenings are in Bavaro, not in Punta Cana. Punta Cana is quiet. People don't realize that when they book resorts that If they book them, then they're in Punta Cana, or they're in Macayo, or they're in Bavaro Alto. You're nowhere near the nightlife. Most of the time when you book in those areas there, you have to end up going to the clubs that's on that resort, which is fine sometimes too. But if you want like the tourism and the local integration of nightlife, you want to be near Bavaro. So if you want to get off the resort mainly, if you want to get out the resort, Bavaro is your spot for you. So that's all I got. I'm done rambling. So until the end, y'all already know, keep your goals at the forefront of your mind. Always live in the present, because that's the only way you're going to live your best life. And I'm out.
You both got my best life, yeah. You both got my best life, yeah. Something you and me, oh. You both got my best life, yeah. Jumping, flexing, no, no.